Alright, so I feel like getting a sample. So let's go ahead and do that first. Yo, that's beautiful. So let's just go ahead and get this jazz chords rolled. Now, if you like any of those samples, then check out my monthly loop kit. I just put out a lot of vinyl samples every month, and you can download these in my monthly loop kit. And every month there's gonna be some new vinyl samples, new loops, and whatnot. So that's for those of you that want to download some of the stuff I'm using and make beats using that stuff. But let's go ahead and chop up this sample. So what I like to do is, instead of finding the tempo of the sample right away, I just like to find a nice loop. Alright, let's chop that out. Alright, let's bring this to the start of the song. Now, instead of finding the BPM of this, what I'll go ahead and do is I'll hit warp, and then I'll hold shift and drag the edge of the sample until it reaches the closest bar. Now this one seems to be really on point. It seems to be about 120 BPM. But if we look at the BPM down here, the segment BPM, it says 121. And I guess that's the BPM of this loop. But as you can tell, as I stretch it, the segment BPM changes according to that. So this is just a cool way of finding the BPM of different loops, and in my opinion, it's the easiest way to do it. I like to keep in mind the rhythm of the sample. I hear these little hi-hats, these 16th notes. So I want to keep that in mind and try to make my song using a rhythm that either follows that rhythm or complements it. Now notice the placement of the chords too. It goes da 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 da. So I want to choose drums or sounds that are going to follow that rhythm. Inspire me. I just feel like adding some drums to this, and a kick and a snare. Maybe an 808, who knows? Nah, no 808. I like that. Let's get that kick. Ooh, I like that snare. Nice and simple. Oh, no, 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 no. Damn, I fucked up that last one. So let's take this last note and bring it up to a snare. Alright. Now this is a little bit delayed, so let's bring it back. Now let's go ahead and EQ this a little bit, this sample, and cut out that bass. Or maybe just keep the bass. see what that sounds like. And then on this top sample, so let me call this bass, sample bass, and then let's call this sample chords. And so on the chords, I'll leave the high end. But with the bass, I want to keep just the bass. Let me add a saturator to this. Let's see how strange we can make this. Let me go ahead and add like an amp. Holy shit. Now, a plugin I really like is Guitar Rig. It's supposed to be for guitars, but I like to add it on any type of sound, and it'll change the sound of the original sound to something strange. It's like an amp plugin. It has a bunch of effects, but I gotta find it real quick. Now wait up. So I'm gonna go ahead and add addictive drums, and it has some like acoustic drum kits, and I'm just gonna get a nice ride sound and go ahead and add it to this beat. Just something subtle. Alright, let's record that. Let me go ahead and add a shaper box effect to these chords. I want to see what kind of stutters I can add to this. I just want to see how wild I can make this sound. Alright, so I think that's cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that. I'm just going to call this stutter. I'm going to go ahead and freeze the track and flatten it. And every once in a while, we'll have these stutters come in. Add a chorus to these chords. As for this kick, it's a little bit too high pitched, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. go. I got an idea. Let's repeat this a few times right here. And let's do this right here. And let's work on this second part. So I'm thinking about bringing the bass in a little bit more often. So doing something like this. Let me add some extra hi-hats to this, or like a shaker. I don't know yet. We're just gonna find out what works, what doesn't work. This beat sounds very close to being done already, just because it's a sample beat. So we'll find out what sounds good and what doesn't. All right, I like that hi-hat right there. Oh shit. Ooh, okay. You know what I'm saying? What? No. Oh, that sounded fire, but I fucked up. What do I want to add in terms of sounds and melodies that's going to make this sound more interesting? That's the question. I feel like I don't want chorus on it. Vibrato though. So this is a plugin called RC20. I usually just turn off all these extra features and turn on the pitch wobble. This kick sounds so hard. I want more of a soft kick, I guess. I want something that's gonna like go hard through the subwoofers, but it's not gonna be so sharp sounding. So I'm gonna get a different kick. So I feel like I use hi-hats a lot, but I can add some other types of drums to this to make it more interesting. So I'm gonna get a drum rack and I'm gonna get a nice drum fill sound. I like that. So let me get this drum fill and put it into the drum rack, and let me go ahead and duplicate this over a few times. And I'm just gonna get 4 little one shots. All right, the next one. bit delayed, but we can fix that. Dang, that sounds good. I like it. So we just made our own little drum fill there. Let me normalize this, which means make it louder. Let me take this. All right, now this cool thing that I like to do on certain beats that makes the kick hit a little bit harder and that fills up a lot of space is I like to add some sort of ambient sound. So that could be like a city or a forest or just any type of environment sound. And I like to sidechain it to the kick, but I do the other type of sidechain, which is called expansion. And that means every time the kick hits, it gets louder. So this adds like a little stomp or like a tail effect to the kick, and it makes it hit harder. It doesn't make the kick hit harder, it just adds like some emphasis to the kick, and it fills up a lot of space in the background. So I like doing it. And the way I came up with this technique is I was listening to a Pierreborn live stream, and I noticed he used a lot of weird background sounds, and he would layer it. I think he would layer it with his 808 or his kick, and it sounded really dope in my opinion. So I just want to try it for this beat. I'm pretty sure it's gonna sound good. All right, a supermarket. Let's see how that sounds. Let's put it in a MIDI track. And let's just play it. Let me turn it up. I don't like it because it sounds too bright. All right, let's see what this sounds like. Let me just draw a single note. All right, that's good enough. All right, so this sounds weird right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the volume of this a lot until you can almost not hear it. And now I'm gonna put a compressor on this, and I'm gonna put it in expansion mode. So as you can tell, a compressor usually works in the sense that when you pass a certain threshold, it gets quieter. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it to expansion mode, which means whenever the sample passes a certain threshold, it's going to get louder. But what's more important is that I put it on sidechain mode, and I sidechain this to the kick. So now every time the kick hits the sound, this sound is gonna get louder. Let's make it louder. see how that sounds. Kind of loud, so let's turn it down a little bit. And I'm gonna pitch it down. And now let's make this stereo by adding a simple delay, putting both of them to time, putting one all the way down and the other to like 12 milliseconds. That sounds okay. All right.